Hello and welcome to the Luminous Group NavVis Ivion portal demo. In this video, we'll be going through the basic functionality of the portal and how to use it. So this is the main homepage of the website. Once you get your login credentials, which will be provided by email, you will log in and this is the homepage that you'll come to. At the top left-hand side of the screen, we've got your user management, where we can add new users. So each users have different privileges which are completely editable. These are done in the User Groups tab. Ivion already has three main groups called Admin, Editor, or Viewer. Admin has basically full functionality of the whole website, and they can add new users and change the privileges. Editor, at the minute, is able to crop and download data, create POIs, use a measurement tool, create POI categories, and save measurements. The viewer group is basically just a viewer, and they can take measurements as well. You can edit these groups and create your own groups and make them fully customizable for each different user. So, say an engineer may need to be able to take measurements and download the data, and a designer might need to save measurements, download the data, and create POIs. If we go back to the home page, we can jump into one of the sites. So each of these blue dots represents a scanned site, and we also have a list down the left-hand side also, which we can jump into. So once we jump into a site, we have two views. There's the 3D view on the big screen, and then there's a smaller 2D plan. These can be switched depending on your requirements. I tend to use them with the 3D view as the larger one. Down the left-hand side, we have all of the tools, which we'll go through later in the presentation. So on the 2D plan, you'll see the grey circles, which represent the 360-degree camera positions, which were taken all across the site. You can jump around the site using these points and navigate around just by clicking on these grey circles, or you can also click on the floor as well. Navigation is nice and easy, you just click around the factory. You can also jump between floors, so on this example we've got the ground floor, or we can jump up to the platform above. The next thing to show you is we jump back to the ground floor. We have these points of interest. So lots of different icons around the factory representing different assets within the facility. So it could be anything from engineering tools to medical to escape routes. So if we jump to this first point, which is the Fuso 1 machine, we've attached some technical drawings showing just the layout dimensions of this particular machine. We can jump to Fuso 2 next door to it, which basically just has a PDF attached with the owner's manual. So if we click on the owner's manual, it just takes us to the PDF, so you can pull up all of the relevant information on how to use that machine. You can basically attach any technical information to these points of interest, ranging from PDFs on owner's manuals, technical information on drawings, or even 3D models. If we jump to this machine, the checkweigher, we've got a 3D model embedded. So this is just a link to a 3D model. So say you might need to check some dimensions or what the machine looks like. Maybe check for clashes on how it fits in that environment. You can check on this 3D model. So yeah, we can import or embed any kind of information. So the other thing we're looking at is embedding live feed information from the machines directly to the portal, so that you can kind of check information on those machines without leaving the office. On a health and safety view, we can embed emergency medical supplies. Say, on this case, we have a eye wash station or a fire extinguisher or fire exits. One of the other nice features of the portal is being able to route around from different points of interest. So we might want to route from the fire extinguisher to the fire escape. So just by clicking on fire extinguisher, it'll take us to that point, and then we can route to the nearest fire escape. And it shows up on both screens. So on this smaller screen, it's got represented with the purple arrows, and it also displays it. I'll just switch that around. Also displays on this 3D view as well. It'll always take you along safe routes rather than going through any machines or walls. We've created safe routes, safe walkways, which it'll route through. So you'll notice it goes just through this doorway. So this is a very handy tool for kind of site inductions as well. So if you might need to do a site induction before somebody arrives to familiarize themselves with the site, or if you might send an engineer in who's not familiar with the site and be able to route to a particular machine without any external help. Okay, so the next function is the measurement tool. So I'll just jump to an area I know where there's some space in this factory. So say you may want to, well, there's lots of different measurement functions. So mark and measure tool on the left-hand side. I've already got some saved in here, but I'll just delete those out and start fresh. So say you might want to install a new machine and see how much space you have for that machine. So for that you would use a horizontal measurement and say just a rectangle tool. So you can mark either on the 3D view or the 2D view. So say you want to fit it into this area here, we can click 2 points and drag out a rectangle. So that'll give you the square meterage, and if you hover over it, it'll also give you the dimensions of each side. You can edit that square in either window, so we can drag it around in this one or in the 2D view. Another function, you might want to do a vertical measurement on the wall, say if you want to install a new AC unit or punch a hole through the wall for a new machine. You can basically do the same. So for this one, we'll use a polygon tool. So you can create your box, gives you the area size and also the length of each side as well. From here, we can export these measurements as a PDF. So you might want to share the information with a designer or engineer. So we can just highlight those dimensions and click the share button. And that will just save them into a PDF, which we can send direct from here. It has all of that relevant information on. The other tool is being able to do a free measurement. So if it's not on a flat surface, you might want to be measuring the length of the stairs, for example. So we can just do a single point-to-point measurement up those stairs. And it'll give you the length and also the length of the two sides as shown. So that's the kind of basic functions. There's a few other options, but they're fairly self-explanatory. So leading on from the measurement tool, we have the crop and download function, which basically we can crop and download the data and share it to different parties. So, for example, you may want to crop and download a machine and send it to an engineer. So if we click on the tool, you get a short video here of how to use it, but I'll just run through the same thing. So it drops you into the 2D view, and you have this limit box which you can move around and manipulate fairly easily. So in this case, I'll window out just this machine. So it's easy to move just by pulling the yellow toggles. And then we can jump to the 3D view. This displays the point cloud, and you can drag the box up or down depending on how much you want. So in this case, we just want the actual machine. Once you've set your limit box parameters, you can download the information as a few different formats: E57, LAS, or poly. E57 is the most common file type for point clouds, so that's what we'll use for this example. So once you click download, it'll just download that point cloud. So we can also export whole rooms depending on what the function is. So say we might need to export this whole room to a designer. We can window out the whole room and then decide on whether you want the ceiling included, or you can get rid of the floor if needed. Or you may just want to see the feet positions of machines, so we can just drag it down and just see the actual positions. So that's a nice handy tool for sharing the point cloud data. So you may want to export the whole factory, but that's obviously going to be a lot of, well, a very large file size. So most of the time we're just exporting small isolated areas. The next function is being able to select different data sets within the factory. Within this factory we have two data sets, the ground floor or the platform. Obviously on larger projects you may have it split up into multiple data sets depending on how the building's been scanned, or depending on how you want it split up. So this makes it a lot easier for sharing with different parties as well. So rather than using the crop and download function, we can just select one data set and share it from here as well. So with the points of interest, we have a tab down the left-hand side, which we can click on. Ivion automatically has categories set up, so ranging from access, miscellaneous, office, restrooms, safety, services, and transport. These POIs can be turned on or off depending on if they're needed or not. So say in a factory you might not need the transport, services, restrooms, or office. So it'll just display engineering and safety. You might just be sending this or giving access to an engineer who might not need to know the safety placements of assets. So we can turn that one off. And then it'll just show the engineering assets. Obviously on a large factory you might have hundreds of these POIs, so it kind of clutters up the screen. So depending on what the use is, these can be turned on or off. So that's all of the basic functionality of the portal. If you've got any other questions or looking for any more information, please get in touch, and thanks for listening.